Let's hit it.
All right. Alrighty, so you're here at Better You Solutions with Coach Coleman. May you introduce yourself and what you have to offer?
Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here with you today, and I really appreciate the time you've taken to put these podcasts together. I know it ain't an easy task. But what's so crucial is the messages that we get across through these podcasts and the availability it is to people to really dig in deep and explore new ways of thinking, new ways of being, new ways of looking at stuff that's really holding us back. And if I look back at my past, I have to say that, I was a development engineer for General Electric back in the day. Now I'm talking back in the 80s. And I realized that the corporate scene was really not for me. And being a development engineer, it meant that I was really good at making things happen. Design, systems, you name it. And I had been always keen on exploring the metaphysical aspects of life. I'd been a clairvoyant and a clairaudient as a kid. And that kind of like got shut down, but regenerated after I quit the engineering and actually took a year out in 83, 84 to travel through, I think it was 16 countries camping in Africa. That was a huge life changer for me because I realized then that what I thought was so true was actually based on a bunch of falsehoods. My belief that, life was going to be for me at that stage of the game, or prior in the engineering game, was like I just wanted a little house, a wife, and a couple of kids, and, just be Mr. Norm. But life had a different path for me. And yeah, and so it's like what happened was that I started doing a lot of inner work when I came out of Africa. It was like I was in culture shock. I didn't really know what I wanted to do other than I knew that what I didn't want to do, and that was to go back into the corporate scene. And in that exploration with past lives, with acupuncture, with homeopathy, with some exercise, although I was asthmatic, and as a kid I really damaged my back and had chronic neck and shoulder and lower back pain most of my life. I was determined to find some answers to that. And in so doing, it was the dance between what was really happening in my logistic mental state and what was also happening in the other realms in the metaphysical state, and how one can control your mental state by really acknowledging the messages coming in from outside. Let's call it the metaverse. And those messages became crucial to me to steer me forward, not only in my relationships with my wife then, but also in my relationship with my friends. And it really helped me to see that there was a lot more to life than just looking at your shoulder, over your shoulder, and worrying about what was going on in the past. And it was really about a clear vision, a super clear vision, and it's really difficult to acknowledge that. A clear vision of what I or you or anybody wants to create in the future about our life, and use that vision to steer the life forward into that being, into that place, rather than looking over the shoulder and complaining that I don't have enough money, or I don't have the resources to open up another healing center, or that's what I was doing. And it was like always looking over my shoulder, and it was like, this history is like, it's like you're towing this sticky, yucky stuff that's full of like nefarious messages that really don't support us or support me in that state. And when I really got the courage, and that's what it takes, got the courage to really dig my heels in and really focus on what I wanted to create, that magic began to happen so quickly I couldn't believe it. At that time, there was a book called by Shatki Gawain, which was Creative Visualization. And it was a workbook about setting your goals and creating the vision of the person that you wanted to become. And it took me about 2 months to work through that book. And at the end of it, my life goal then was to connect with other shamans around the planet to create a cohesion of effort towards betterment of society and clarity of society, or clarity of individuals in that society. And also I had a goal of putting together a bunch of real estate, which happened. In 3 years, I think I owned 1.1 or 1.2 million. I controlled 1.2 million of real estate, and I was making money off that and actually a living off that, and I could have effectively retired from that. But I realized that, you know, if it's going to be 1 million, it's easy to go 10 or 100 or 500 million. It didn't really matter. It was just a matter of putting digits on the end of the on the end of the equation, on the end of the goal. And that soon wore very thin. It was like I wasn't being really true and authentic to the inner Ben or inner Benedick that wanted to really go back to the clairvoyant and the clairaudient and the metaphysical stuff that I'd been really interested in as a kid. I'd read tons and tons of metaphysics books by the time I was 17, 18. And so I was very versed in a very broad spectrum, from Plato to current stuff to what is called, unfortunately, conspiracy stuff, which is not conspiracy, and how the whole system was actually deluding us and diluting us from our true purpose. You know, maybe you as a listener can relate to that sort of entanglement that we get into. Is like, okay, I'm in these relationships, I've got this stuff to take care of, and at the same time I want to move forward with that vision, and it's that how do I get... Excuse me?
Oh, no, I was just taking back off of your lifespan, where you started from as a child and what you went through, and it's kind of like it circled right back to where you originally began.
Right. Isn't that interesting? It's like when I look, now I'm 72, I'm super fit, I hike Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea up in high altitudes. I do construction work still, heavy landscaping, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I had no idea that I would ever be living in Hawaii. And that's where I ended up. But cut back to the rekindling of that metaphysical side of myself. What I realized through that creative visualization process was that we do, in fact, manifest our goals in a way that is not linear. And, you know, you think, yeah, you need to make a plan, but that long-term goal that I had was to connect with different shamans around the planet started to happen on its own accord. It wasn't like I was pushing for it in terms of like reaching out to specific individuals. More, it was coming to me. The same was happening in the real estate. The different properties that I acquired were coming to me. And it's kind of like, once you get clear on that, it's the universe really supports us in that vision. So, unfortunately, if we have a vision where we're looking over our shoulder and concerned about what's gone on in the past, guess what? We're giving that same message to the future self, and it will continue to be looking over your shoulder unless you make a change and grab the vision by the horns and go like, okay, I'm going to ride this beast and I'm going to take it forward with me. And, you know, so yes. Lots of lots of entrepreneur startups I started, trying to different things. But basically what happened was that I looked at the real estate business and I went like, this isn't for me. And I netted out what I did, and then I came and I took over the research I took over the academy and research of a Dr. Randall Baer. This is back in '87. He passed, unfortunately, a year later or so. And through that research, I opened up a holistic bed and breakfast. We had a lot of people coming in and doing workshops there. And I was doing my workshops there too, which was basically around how to organize space through geometry. Okay, we're getting a little engineering here there, but it's like everything is sort of coordinated through basic building blocks in metaphysics. And those building blocks really help us to analyze and substantiate where we're going and how things work. And being the engineer, systems, etc., development, etc., engineer, I was really good at looking at different systems. And in that research environment, I decided that there was another way that I wanted to go, and I went into dream state, and I'm a lucid dreamer. And I went into dream state, and I asked, and I asked, and I asked for a way to create tools that could facilitate people transforming way quicker than what we knew about right then. And that led me to working with developing sound environments, one of which is right behind me here. It's a little fuzzed out. I know I have it on fuzzed out, but that is a sound environment whereby you feel and experience the music viscerally through the body. So you're feeling the different vibrations like a musical massage, gently massaging the body.
Is that like sound bathing?
Yeah, kind of, but way more intense and way quicker. And yeah, and then I realized after I trained, we did thousands of sessions, and I documented those sessions in terms of like I really wanted to be clear if I was going to bring new tools out to the planet. I really wanted to be clear and substantiate in my own ethical basis whether that tool was really doing what I thought it was doing. Well, after thousands of sessions, I graphed out those different responses that we got. And lo and behold, there was a method to the madness. In other words, there were such a wide range of experiences within, I call it the Dreamweaver, that it was difficult to talk about without those experiences. And I have, I don't have them right in front of me, but I have like notebooks. Still, I have those notebooks from back then of thousands of sessions and testimonies from people that had gone through it. Basically, what I was working with and all that I was really wanting to do with it was not some sort of entertainment basis, but more about personal development. It was to get the person into a deeply relaxed state so that they could, with ease and without the fear and the constrictions, really focus on what it was that they wanted to create. So my sessions with them were all about manifestation of a specific event. And when you use that intentionality, it's like the universe conspires to support you in manifesting that desire, that passion, that feeling. It's more than just a mental construct. It's really about the whole body feeling. So, right. At times when I was raising my kids, it was like, there are times when kids will really push your buttons. And it's the ability to step aside out of that, acknowledge that, yeah, I'm the adult here. I'm creating this through the child that I have brought into this world. And for some reason, this child is kicking me in the butt to really look at this stuff or disengage from it. And that's the tricky part, and is the disengagement, because we're so tied in with our children. Yeah, it's such a beautiful experience to raise children. It's like unbelievable. And it's such, and in that raising of the children, you see their developmental process, and how, if you look maybe more at other kids and parents, you see how those kids are basically reflecting those parents. Their parents, their behavior, their body language, everything about them, their food habits, their whatever happens, their exercise habits or not, you know, they all are influencing the child. And one of the that was such a beautiful period in my life. Actually, I brought up two sets of kids, two girls and two boys, through the early stages of their life more. And then the court system got hold of me. And yeah, that was really, really difficult.
Quite a lot.
Yeah, that was really, really difficult. It was like the court systems, and I couldn't acknowledge this at the depth that was happening at that time. The court systems were fragmenting me from my ex and the kids, and it kept on going on, no matter what I did. And in one situation, the children were abducted 2 times. Anyway, I'm not going to go into all of the dramas.
Recording in progress.
I'm sorry.
Okay, was that recording before? It just came through, recording in process.
Yeah, it just started.
Recording stopped.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why I had a delay. I'm not sure if you want to just continue where we stopped off, where we left off.